is to going before you and everything's happening that you want to happen and everything is looking great out in your lawn. Hoping that everybody's weeks are going nice and that we just come out and talk a little bit. Not a whole lot that I have going on. As you can still see, I still have an owie in the middle of the yard. The rains and stuff, we did have some rains this week and it definitely helped me out. Had a little bit of nitrogen source lightning that happened, so that definitely helped out. Haven't had to run my water since last Thursday now, so almost going on a week of no secondary water because we got almost 2 inches of rain. So definitely one of those things that really helps out your lawns. Definitely helps you go in the right direction and pushes you to what you really should be doing is watering deeply but infrequently. And so that's where I'm at, is watering deeply and infrequently. I'm gonna take a seat. I'm gonna try to look up at this thing, tilt me down just a touch. Overall, lawn's doing pretty well. It is time for a blade change. I am starting to get some tip fraying, so it is definitely, come on, focus. Definitely time to look at that. I usually like to do it in the middle of July, but this year my seed stock held out a little bit and it was a little bit harder. And so I pushed my blades a little bit longer than I should have, but I can definitely see that I have, like I said, I have a good amount of it going on. As you can darn well see, focus, 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 finger, focus, no? Yeah, anyways. You can definitely see it. One of those things that I normally do at the same time that I check my filters to make sure that everything's going in the right direction. That is one of those things. I just don't know what I've done with my extra set of blades. I was looking for them the other day. And so, as you can tell, if you get down and look at it, or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that she's shaggy. She's definitely shaggy. But I'm trying to find that darn blade before I put another cut on it, because I saw how bad the cut quality was starting to get, and I hate to give it too many bad cuts in a row so that I don't cause any issues and stuff. So overall, doing pretty decent, looking good. The scarf from the sprinkler move is definitely in full swing. I could be fixing it a little bit better, but I'm not throwing a ton of water at my move. You can tell that up here it's doing a little bit better. Definitely doing good up there. Down here a little bit more shaky, but it waters tonight. I gotta kind of contemplate whether or not I'm gonna let it water, but so far so good, so good. I don't know if I've seen anybody really comment. No, that was the first one. What's going on, Caleb? How are you tonight? Sorry that it's a little bit later than I normally start these. I have been dabbling in the realm of my theater, and I went and picked up some different subs for my theater. I'm trying to figure out what sounds best for my theater needs. And so, yeah, that's where I was. And so, sorry about the late start. Really apologize about that. Want to talk to you guys about nitrogen, about the use of nitrogen tonight. Was one of those things that I wanted to address, because if you can't see this thing behind me, this greener lawn that's behind me, can you not hear me? Is that what's going on? You guys can't hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. All right. Want to talk to you guys about nitrogen. Like I said, one of the things that people think is that they need to keep pounding all these different sources of nitrogen or different amounts of nitrogen into their lawn to make it look good. I've done the math and I've double checked it a couple of times just to make sure that I'm not going to lie to you guys, because I don't want to lie to you guys. But for the season, 0.38 pounds of nitrogen right here. Yeah, I am giving it weekly doses of green effect, but overall 0.38 pounds of nitrogen for this bad boy this season. I feel like it's doing pretty good. So those people who keep pounding their lawns with nitrogen and making it grow like it's going out of style, you know, what's your take on this? What's your thought process? Because there are pros and cons to both ways. There definitely are. I'm not trying to say anybody's wrong here, but normally I don't have to mow very often. I think that the last time I mowed was the last time that we were on. I think was the last time, just because it's slowed down. But it definitely looks like the added nitrogen that I got from the what's it called, the storm, pushed a little bit more growth. So I definitely got a little bit of free nitrogen, and it's doing well. What's your guys' regimen as far as how much nitrogen you guys are putting down? Once again, don't be shamed if you're up around the 6 pound mark. Pros across the United States will run 6 pounds of nitrogen with no issue at all. And their lawns will perform. They definitely will perform. They'll do good. They'll green up. But when you're feeding the soil first, when you are approaching it from an aspect of a micro dosing, micro feeding, you definitely don't have to keep pushing them hard with fertilizer. I just had heard that, what was it, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, something like that, where John Perry from the Next Products had said that you can do it on low nitrogen. And I was like, I don't know if I'm saying this word right, but I was like, bet, I'll see what we can do here. I don't know if I'm going to have a good lawn, a bad lawn, or where we're going to be at in a lawn. But overall, I'd say a lawn that's stressed, has minimal water, did get 2 inches of water this past week on from, what was it, Thursday through Sunday. We had those waters in the rainstorms, but since Sunday it still hasn't had any water, and I'm contemplating hard about tomorrow whether or not I let it water tomorrow because it's its normal day. But overall, doing pretty darn well, right? So let's see what you guys put down, how you guys have been applying. We can hear you. Good, good, good. I like that. What's going on? All right, let's go say Hayes. Nestor, how are you? First Aussie, always love you there, Trevor. Ned, long time no see. How have you been? Sound, I like it. Hi, everyone. Edward, how's it going? Lawn Father, good to see you. Loud and clear. Nestor, love it. Edward, good to hear you. No, that's fine. I don't know what you're talking about, Caleb. Freaking me out, man. Did you say weekly doses of Green Effect? Yes. I have a video out, and I'll leave it down in the description since we're about to talk about it. But this season, I've been doing weekly doses of 3 ounces of Green Effect. And truth be told, I haven't done it for this. If I don't do it tonight, like I was thinking, this will be the 3rd week that I have not done my weekly. I've only done up to this point 5 of those, of 3 ounces of Green Effect is what I've been applying. Foliar or soil apps. So the only soil apps that have gone down as far as granular that have been on this is my Soil Mastery. And that's a 500 on that analysis. So that has been the main push of nitrogen that I've had from those applications. That's where most of the push of the nitrogen has came from, is from those. The other ones has only been Green Pop, or not Green Pop, sorry, it has been Green Effect. And the last application, let me not lie to you, because we did this, 2 weeks ago now, I did put for up here, a 4 ounces per 1,000. So, no, that was already in that. So it is 0.38 still, but it was 4 ounces of Green Pop on this about 2 weeks ago when I cut into it, because I didn't want to keep it stressed. So it has had 1 application of Green Pop, and that was the last one. And before that, like I said, it's been 3 weeks since I've done a Green Effect pop on it. So yes, 0.38 pounds, that Green Pop was considered into that. Yeah, so that's all I'm at. Where are we at? So foliar, yep. Go roughly 3 to 4 pounds a year. Solid number, definitely solid number. I'd encourage you to see if you could bring that down a little bit and feed your soil, give yourself a little bit different look here in the future. Not saying this year, because obviously you've probably gotten pretty close to it being almost done with the year. But it's one of those things that I challenge you. I wonder if you can definitely, you know, achieve the same greatness that you have in your lawns already, but maybe even take them to another level, because you can, you know, you have different options that you can go out. I could go out tomorrow with a full rate nitrogen app and not have any kind of problems. I would grow like this thing was a weed, but overall, it's been doing really well. My AP tools are trash. What's going on, Chaka? So far, 3.5 pounds of nitrogen. Yep, that's about in the same realm of what a lot of people run it, is that 3 to 4 pounds of nitrogen, just because they're applying those 4 applications throughout the season that are pretty heavy. Once again, it's one of those applicator regimens where they are putting that pound of nitrogen down every single time and pushing it. But I'd much rather force my grass, my soil, and everything to amend itself and to fend for itself, and do this naturally to a certain point. Obviously, if I'm spoon feeding it, I'm giving it a little bit of nutrients and I am helping it along. But a lot of what you are seeing is it's starting to rely on the soil, which I'm really excited about. Definitely a good push, a good way of doing it. And I don't know, you know, that's what this conversation's all about, because like I said, there's no right or wrong way. Like, just because I'm doing it this way doesn't mean 6 pounds of nitrogen per year is a wrong way by any means. It's a different way. I just like how how low maintenance this is, versus having to get out and have to mow a lot during the summer when it's super duper hot. I keep making all these reels and it keeps revolving around me having to mow, and heat's involved. So I guess that's a hot topic for me. All right, so 3.5, great. I do half a pound a month. That's roughly 4 pounds, correct? Yeah, that's definitely a good amount. The first year I did it in 2018, that's what I was doing, was about that half a pound. I was using Milorganite, and with Milorganite, my green was pretty darn dark. I've gone back and watched some of my videos. My green was pretty darn dark. I was pretty impressed with the half a pound. So I was probably right around that 4 pounds of nitrogen a year, and I was pretty impressed with it. So yeah, it's definitely not a bad one. Let's see. Okay, Reds. I'm guessing no Edwards. I got to remember Reds. I'll try that. What's up, Jason? How are you? Long time no see. What you been up to? I haven't been over to your channel for a while. You still got content coming out on your channel, Jason? Do you have a sprinkler system? Yes, I do have a sprinkler system. We are here in Utah here. With Utah, we have desert conditions. We are a dry and winter desert. And so to get moisture 99% of the time, it's going to have to be from a sprinkler system. So I do have an in-ground sprinkler system, and it is one of those things where you just have to keep it in order and stuff. So yes, I do have an in-ground sprinkler system. Been spraying ammonium sulfate and ferrous sulfate together, mixed, your own. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. You just, depending on how much you are, you know, tossing and stuff, depends on how much you're going to be mowing, but definitely a good little combination like that. Looks good. Sounds good, Reds. 0.14 so far, and 0.12 inches in the back so far. Yeah, my goal was to be around 1.5 pounds of nitrogen, and that was considering what I was going to toss down for my overseeding. I don't know if they're still going to cut my water off on September 1st, so I don't know if my overseeding is going to be a thing this year. If they cut it off on September 1st, it definitely won't be a thing. But yeah, that overseeding, I was going to put down a starter fertilizer at higher numbers, and that's where my 1.5 pounds was going to come from. Is about my ballpark of where I wanted to be for the season, but that was taking into consideration that other side of things of doing a starter fertilizer for the seed. So not a bad target by any means there. Question time of running more nitro. Clarify your question for me. Is that true that healthy grass keeps ants, spiders, and other bugs away like flies and roaches? No. No, it's cover for them. Does it prevent damage from insects? Yes. It can recover and outpace it. Does it prevent them? No. You'll have a dense canopy where they can actually take over and be in there pretty heavily. I have infestation of ants every once in a while in mine, but there's different products that you can definitely use and utilize in your lawn that will help them, but I don't find them to be an issue. I'm not in an area where those are my issue pests, nor my issues in my lawn. But no, I have all that in my lawn. If I dig down and I'm looking at the soil level, I'll see spiders, I'll see lots of ants. Of course, there's beetles and stuff in there because I did get grubs, and that's their larvae. That's, their babies and stuff. They're young that are down there feeding on the roots. So they're obviously in there. If they're younger in there, they don't just magically appear. That isn't how that works. So no, not per se. Can it fight and tolerate the presence better? Yeah. Oh yeah. If it's healthy and you have deep, solid, like large roots that are healthy, oh yeah, it'll definitely fight it. I probably once again had a pretty heavy infestation of grubs in this, and I didn't put down a pre-emergent in this, and it's actually working out pretty darn well, doing extremely well. Over in my park strip though, I've only done one application once again this year. It was the Pro Pete. I am ready to throw something else down, and it did get grubs. It definitely did get grubs, and it did cause problems because it wasn't as healthy. There wasn't a nutrition plan in place, and the watering kind of cut out over there. It wasn't as good. The heads got blocked because it's secondary water. So a little bit longer than probably needed to be. I've been running the Pro Pete with some Anderson's PGF. That's a heck of a combination right there. Both of those, hilariously enough, when I actually put this thing together for my side over here, those are two of them that are going to be in that. So, all right. Sure do. Mid putting green, Redo. I got to get over to your channel. Side yard scalp, real mowing, just finished lawns, landscaping. Oh, nice. I've got to get over there. I haven't been over there for a while. If you've done all that, it's been way too long. Is there a time you run more nitro than others? So yes, in the spring or in the fall, I'll definitely push it a lot harder just because that's when the grass is the least stressed. And so when I'm pushing more nutrients and I'm making it grow, I'm not doing it at an abnormal time for my lawn that it would normally be. And so I can establish better roots, better density. I can establish a better grass turf during the spring and the fall for my cool season grass. Now, you warm season guys, you'd probably want to do it a little bit differently. You'd probably want to push it a little bit harder during the summer, just so that's its growing period, and that's when it will perform a little bit better. But that also, you have to mow more, you have to do all those different things. You can push it in the spring and the fall just the same way, but you want to give it the love when it's going to want the love, when it's its normal growing time versus outside of its normal growing times. So to push a cool season grass during the summer, during the hot heat, anything above, for me personally, 80 degrees, I usually will back away from nitrogen and give it more iron or more biostimulant, stuff that's going to promote the roots, sea kelp, those types of things. That's when I push those as the heat is going the opposite way. Obviously, sea kelp I can't push as hard during the hot heat because it is a thing that can it can have cell rupture. I can't think of the word, it's not coming to me, but it can blow stuff up if you put it down too heavy because it is a growth hormone. So I don't push it so hard, but it's definitely one of those things that I help it through the summer. Your integrity is appreciated. Have a good night from Texas. God bless you too as well, Ricardo. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry it's a little bit later, but I just want to make sure that, you know, we had some time together. I love these days together with you guys, answering a few questions, seeing what you guys got going on. Let's see. Would you ever consider 6 to 7 pounds per season? I have seen it work on friends' turf type tall fescue that is super thick. Only in the case where I had super good water and I could mow super frequently. If I were to push it like that, because it's going to stress it, it is going to be a stressor through the summer pushing it that hard. I would do it if I wanted to promote a lot of growth, but I could keep up with the mowing and I could keep up with the water aspect. If I couldn't keep up with those, it's definitely outside of what its growth is supposed to be, and it could stress it out. Once again, not gonna, is it horrible? It's on the higher end by all means. That's way higher than even professionals go out at, and they're always flirting with that danger line, even though it's a lot further. But they're always flirting with that danger line because they're trying to push that instant green and their instant pop. Hold on. You just said something down there, and you've caught me off super guard at this point. Also, would you ever consider small turf type tall fescue plot in the backyard? So over here in their lawn, I actually have a turf type tall fescue over there. It's the Turf Saver by Barenbrug that we planted. We haven't been pushing it super hard this season because we didn't overseed and we have water restrictions, so I haven't pushed it super hard. But I do want to hit it with a iron here soon, and we have to spray out some weeds. So I'm trying to get a window. But this is my test plot for that, is to be 100% honest, is this guy over here. Remember how beginning of the season it was like meh, and end of season last year like oh geez. Yeah, they're definitely rocking it like a lot more solid green. They are running that Turf Saver, and it is a tall fescue over there. So that's my plot for it. I want to kind of see what what we can do with it. I'm super excited for that over there. Thanks for recommending Speed Zone for my spurge issue. Completely knocked it out. Oh yeah, it'll definitely knock that stuff out. It's a little bit slower, if I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit slower than what T-Zone is, but T-Zone this year has been super difficult to get. But the triclopyr within it, with the other three-way that is in there, definitely knocks it out a little bit quicker. But Speed Zone, by all means, will knock it down. It is what I have nailed mine with a couple of times this year, and it's been knocking it bad. Good to hear that you had great results with it, Ken. Glad to hear that. Do you use humid or sea kelp monthly or every 3 to 4 weeks? So humic acid, there was a project I was supposed to be doing that I was going to be putting in, and it was going to be something a little bit different. So I'm not really going to touch on that. My philosophy with humic acid is if it's in a bottle, it's never amended a bottle. It's better to be out on your soil and let it amend in the soil. So if you buy it, just get it out. And I truly do believe that. And I truly have played by that realm, and yards that have taken me up on that offer have done extremely well, have started to perform over time a little bit quicker than yards around them and stuff. I do believe in humic acid for the long run. Unlocking the soil, changing, amending, those types of things. There's the people who are the naysayers out there about it. I do have a results video that I did put out. I wasn't looking for that per se. That wasn't my results I was after. I just found it because I was digging in the dirt, you know, little kid things. So it's definitely one of those things. The sea kelp, yes, I've been doing it monthly because it's in the Soil Mastery product that I have, and then it is in my Power Hit as well. My Power Hit is RGS and Aerate. my favorite hit. It's the one that really relaxes my lawn when it gets under stress, and that's the one that is the first go-to for me when my lawn is under stress. So yes, I do hit those, and that is a monthly application for me. That is very monthly for me. All right. Yep, the 6 to 7 nitrogen guy notes 2 to 3 times per week and had $200 a month water bill. So that would be 2 to 3 times a week mowing, which is good, and a 200. Oof. Yeah, so there, it's the key, and hopefully he's dialed in his sprinklers so that it is watering appropriately and the coverage is uniform, versus, you know, having hot spots and stuff that could be fixed and getting that down quicker. But it sounds like, you know, he's on the right steps. Those are definitely the things that you want to address if you're going to push nitrogen that hard. And if it gets super hot, you would really want to kind of like tailor it back, because you're going to be freaking cool season grasses out if it goes into those 100 pluses for very long. And so if you're in the 90s, you could probably get away with it really well. If you're in like the 80s, you could have a ball with that. Yeah, I got what you meant. I've seen pigeon on text messages more than my fair share, because if you ever text me, you'll find out really quick that my autocorrect and my personal spelling probably don't match up and do very well for me. What weed killer do you recommend during dry conditions? I don't want to damage the turf. So if it is super dry, so like if it is having some dry issues, let's go for a walk really quick. We'll show you my plots and stuff. So if it is dry, and I feel bad if they're watching, but we're gonna go for a walk. We're gonna go for a little thing. So dry, I recommend pulling weeds, because you need moisture so that it doesn't damage turf. If it has any kind of green in it and it looks pretty decent, you can definitely use it. Just make sure that it's less than 90 degrees before it dries and stuff. But I just hope they're not watching this. So my neighbors, I was helping my neighbors, and they had a professional company come in and hit their weeds, but their watering was a little bit off. Their watering isn't matching up extremely well. And so I fear that because they had this company come in and just absolutely annihilate weeds, I feel like we killed some grass. So I feel super bad, and it was kind of the reason I was trying to help them with their watering coverage. You can see like the watering coverage is weak, but they had them come in and absolutely annihilate weeds, and I fear that we've killed all this in between because it was looking like this when that happened. And like I said, I'm not trying to cast shade. I'm not trying to cause any kind of problems. It's just, you gotta be careful. That was a smart car sounding like that. Shift your car, bro. You've got to be super smart when it comes down to the use of herbicides. When it's in the ground, you've got to pay attention to the surrounding grasses and stuff so you do not kill it. If you apply it to a dormant turf, you're probably not going to get much response out of it. It probably isn't going to do anything if it's fully dormant. But if it's like one of those in-betweens, you could run into some issues. You like how this is unmowed? You're unkept, bro. You're unkept. Anybody want to come mow alone? So yeah, definitely make the call on moisture in the soil before you throw it down, because I fear that you could burn your lawn unnecessarily. It's better to let it, yeah, come on over, Rhett. Definitely come help me with the mow. I do have a little 60 volt that I need to unbox and have somebody come and help me do a review on that thing. I'd love to have somebody local come and help me with that. But yeah, as far as it being dry, be careful with that. You definitely don't want to mess around with it. It's like even me right now, that in this spot right here, if I were to get a weed, or if I were to get a weed infestation right here, I would really, really, really consider not putting a weed killer in there. Everywhere else, I'd be like, yeah, sure, as long as it's below 90 degrees and I don't have any inversion issues, go ahead and spray it. But with that, the way that it looks, I'd be super sketch about putting it down. So yeah, I wouldn't risk it. There's no reason to risk it for the biscuit. It's better just to have some weeds in your lawn and just, get them cleaned up when the lawn is alive and ready as it goes into cool season versus risking anything. Hand pull it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, hand pulling's never a bad idea. Really isn't. If the only one that I personally don't recommend hand pulling here in Utah, and there's probably other ones across the United States I just don't deal with, but if you have bindweed or if you have morning glory, don't hand pull those. It's like a hydra. You pull the head and it creates three underneath the ground and shoots it off 3 different ways, another 20 feet vine going every which way. So don't pull those. Either use like a vinegar on them or a T-zone. T-zone's one of my favorite. If they're in flower beds and it's away from things, glyphosate, using all your PPE, make sure that you follow the instructed labels and everything like that, is probably the absolute best because it kills the whole vine. T-zone, from what I know, only kills about 8 feet of the vine, but if you hit both sides, you can get 16 feet of a 20-foot vine, so you have 4 foot in the middle that you'd have to re-kill. Speed zone's a little bit less. It's like 3 feet. And then some of the others are like 2 to 3 feet. So I like T-zone and or glyphosate with proper PPE on anything, proper following instructions and stuff as far as that's concerned. Those are the only ones that I don't recommend hand pulling because you do create hydras and it will cause an issue. Yeah, 2,4-D is definitely a good one. Just a simple little 2,4-D. Any 3-way is going to have that 2,4-D in it, going to do extremely well. You don't have to get extremely fancy. I just like the professional stuff just because it's so much quicker and it's lower rate use and you have more active ingredient to be able to just knock it out and then go. So that's the only reason I recommend that. But anything that's at like a Home Depot, a Lowe's, anything like that, they're going to have decent stuff. It's going to have stuff that I'd recommend, but in super lower quantities of active ingredient. So not a big deal. That's what I've been doing. All the neighbors think I'm nuts. Well, welcome to lawn care. Kentucky bluegrass is good for mountains. I hear turf type tall fescue doesn't tolerate winter as well. Interested to know if the turf type tall fescue lawn makes it through the winter. I know it makes it through the summer well, yes. So the reason why we're doing this is because of the drought conditions that we're starting to have. The place that the pro shop that I get my stuff from, they're super high on it. They like the Barenbrug stuff, but they're really high on this blend now with that turf type tall fescue. I am interested to see how it does during the winter. I don't have any personal experience. They did have a couple of reference lawns that I could go look at that have been seeded for like 2 years, and they looked okay. They bounced out a winter totally fine. They aren't lawn nuts that live there, so it's kind of hard to judge whether or not it would pop and look good for the long term. So that's why I'm super excited about this, is because they're letting me take over their lawn care and actually do it over here. So I'm interested to see, because they told me that this can actually outshine this, can get deeper, darker on this. And so I'm about to see it. I'm about to go over there and attack it with some iron and see what we can get going down with that turf type tall fescue over here. Excited just to see it, because this is a Kentucky blue rye mix right here. It does have the Barenbrug HGT and the RPR. So it does have those 2 blends in it. It does have a couple of other things that when I hydro seeded my lawn that it came with in the Kentucky blues. But overall, these are the blends that I have. And so I'm wondering if this, where am I? Finger, come on, right there. There we go. I always have to sit there and do it for like 20 minutes when I'm off camera when I'm doing this for a video. So this right here can compete with this green right here. We'll see. We'll definitely see, huh? Been using Weed Be Gone. Ortho, never had an issue. Even in the hot weather, I'm applying in the mornings on 90-degree days, as long as you aren't hitting it for inversion times. As long as it's dry past the inversion point, you're going to be fine. You're definitely going to be fine. I recommend that people get willy-nilly with that? No, but if you're below 90 and it dries and you're past the inversion point, there's nothing to worry about as far as it's concerned. My brother has KBG in South Denver. Looks better than a KBG lawn would in Missouri. Yeah, it's not going to tolerate a lot of humidity. Once you start throwing humidity at KBG, it kind of rolls over and plays dead really quick. Doesn't like it. Rye, oh, this is another video. I'm going to be making a video about grass types, and people are starting to like inch their way towards rye. And that's a scary one because we'll talk about it in that video. Anyways, yeah, you just got to make sure that you're matching your zones, your needs for the areas with the grass types that you're choosing. Your abilities of taking care of lawn will definitely like show really quick if you mismatch your grass type with your abilities. My KBG is so dang slow to wake up out of winter. That's why I have rye in mine. Rye is my last one to go to bed, and it's the first one to wake up in the spring. So that's why there's rye in this. My KBG is my summer performer, which really looks extremely well. Since it's been kind of like high 80s, I was just looking at it as we were sitting there talking in the lawn. I was sitting down right here, and my KBG or not my KBG, but my rye is starting to like fill in super hardcore. It's like, I like this cooler temperature, so it's starting to perform again. So my lawn looks like super duper thick. I don't know if you guys, how well you guys can see it, but you can see the little bit thinner grass blades down and in. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but some of these littler guys are at in here are those little rye blades. And they're starting to really take back over because they're liking this cooler temperature that we've had. It's been in the like high 80s. Just recently we've popped off of that 90 and it's been a little bit lower, and we've had a lot of rain. So for Utah anyways, like I said, we had about 2 inches over the weekend. So it's pretty good. All right. Where are we at? Yeah, I want to hear more about that turf type tall fescue. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. Like I said, I'm about to pop it. I was going to go over there tonight, but then I ended up playing at the stereo store for way too long, and so I probably will hit it on Saturday. But I'm going to hit it with a pretty healthy dose of iron. I'm going to see if I can just blow that thing friggin' green. I'm going to attack it with some iron, and I'm going to go after it because if we go close over there, it still has a lot of weeds. It got way too hot, and I was like, I don't want to mess with your weeds. Please just keep them mowed down. It'll look good from afar, but far from good when we get too close to her. But, you know, I was like, just give me a little bit of time. And so if we get the temperatures where I was looking at them, we're supposed to be like in the low 80s this weekend, I might go over here with some T-zone and just nail it and let that iron just pop the crap out of it. So yeah, that'll be a good test over there to see how it performs against the greener lawn over here. What's the line in the middle of the lawn? Right there. So this little wee man came over to my house and was hopping on this little shovel, trenching this thing out right here. He, really nicely, I love it, he took a head that was misplaced right here, and we moved it right out to here. So what it does, it was telling me, knock it off. So what it does is that this head right here, I have a head that's over here, I have a head that's right back here, I have a head that's down here on the corner, and I have a head that's on this corner. Where's my corner? Where's my finger? I have a finger. There's a finger. All right, so then like in between, I was getting dry spots right here. I was getting dry spots in between right here. was getting dry spots right up here. Oh, this is great camera work. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. So I was getting dry spots right up in here. And so putting it right here has hit where it's supposed to hit, like a sprinkler system is supposed to be put in, instead of this where it's out here on the corner and it's just wrapping back and forth. When I have a head that's up here that's hitting down that side, it hits on that side. I have a head over there that hits over here. And then on this corner, I have this one over here that hits, and this one hits down there. So I had the coverage that I probably wasn't pointing this camera at everywhere I was just talking, but it is the point where it needs to be. Ooh, do you see this? So 2 naughties in a row. Actually, totally fine with these. Organic matter, yay. Bindweed, boo. Organic matter, yay. Bindweed, boo. So, yeah, that's what the owie is in the middle of the lawn. I moved to sprinkler just because I was, like I said, I was getting dry spots and I knew what the fix was, and so I just bit the bullet and we did it during the middle of the summer. It was a week before, so we were still getting 100-degree days, and so it's still struggling a little bit. I got to keep this watered a little bit better and it will rebound, but it's just a little bit struggle. Turf type tall fescue does great during the winter time here in central Cali, but we don't go below 30 degrees. Yeah, so here in Utah, we can drop into the negatives. Every once in a while, we'll range down around like -8. Normal to be around like 5 to 15 degrees. Super normal to be up around like 30 degrees. And so we can range down. So we might be able to see what this will do depending on how well or how crazy the winter is. And I'm hoping for a bad winter, we need the water. It doesn't need to be down here in the valley. It needs to be up there in them there hills. Right there. What's up, honeydoers? What is going on? My grass is glyphosated. I always read that with the worst accent. You need to say that, Mr. Boyce. Mr. Boyce. I'm bored, not the most patient person. Well, if you do it the way that you're supposed to, you need to do it at least 3 times to be able to germinate all the weeds, bring it down, germinate all the weeds, bring it down, and water in between. So you got to be impatient if you're going to do it the right way for about a month. Just saying. I put down a mixture of KBG and fescue. Not bad. Not bad. 2 different things that you're going to be playing with there. You're going to get a little bit different tolerances and different blade types with different like fills to the blade types. But overall, they should perform pretty darn well together. That shouldn't be a bad mix at all. Turf type tall fescue, New Jersey, and it's gorgeous. Nice. Just fight fungus every year because of the humidity. Oof. Yeah, if you can, you probably know this, but just in case somebody that's in here doesn't know it, if you can keep the soil as clear as possible, keep it dry as possible, keep the airflow moving through the best as possible, you'll give your grass the fighting chance to be able to fight against funguses. Sometimes it's just inevitable because we're getting wet or it just doesn't dry in between. I keep saying this, and it just keeps everybody that I've talked to about it and that has done it so far. Baby shampoo, as weird as it sounds, like it helps water penetrate through the soil profile. So like if you have standing water and you use baby shampoo, it clears that up and it helps with fungus because you don't have standing water or it like moisture, a ton of moisture in the soil profile. So there's always that also. Having a good pre-game on that is definitely sometimes a necessity, and finding cultivars of grass types that are better with disease resistance is one of the best ways of having a good pre-game, in my opinion. But nice to hear. Definitely like that. I am super, like I said, I'm super interested about this fescue because I don't know anybody else in Utah that has fescue that I can actually like go and talk to or play with or anything like that. We have a couple of German Shepherds walking by. But yeah, I'm super excited that they let me go with this mix, but it's because of its tolerances and they're super kind of hands-offy They'll even say it themselves that they're from California, and they are Californians when it comes to their lawns. They don't want a lawn really that big. So this is going to be going away shortly and being chopped back and different things. So this is just a temporary thing for them. But yeah, I'm super excited to see that, see where it goes, see how it performs. Because if it does as well as what they said it will in the summer, it's going to grow those deep roots up to 3 feet naturally pretty quickly. Has better heat tolerances, has really good humidity tolerances versus a Kentucky bluegrass, but we don't get humidity, so I won't know that. But I'm just excited just to see it, just so that to see if that's actually true for us here. So hopefully that explains all that, and I've talked about that lawn over there quite a bit tonight. Good to know you guys actually want to hear about some turf type tall fescue. Overall, just wanted to check in with you guys. I do have some cut bop inside that's calling my name. Wife walked past me as I was walking out. She had brought food home, and I'm gonna go jump on some cut bop. Hopefully you guys have had a wonderful night. Hopefully your week is going amazing. I hope your guys' honeydew list has not grown and you guys are knocking it off. You guys have a great weekend, and everybody has a safe and wonderful, where are we in now? August. Hopefully you guys have a safe and wonderful August. Pray for rain for Utah. Pray for less rain where you guys are getting flooding. And hopefully you guys stay safe and happy, healthy. I'm Jeremy of, I'm making sure nobody else wrote anything. I'm Jeremy of the Greener Lawn. Make her green. Hey, Rhett, before I go, hey. If you're serious, I really do want somebody to come over and help me with this review. I was trying to get 5 people to do it, but I never got any committing out of it. Everybody, like I had a couple of people reach out, and it just conflicts and stuff. But if you're serious, you're here in Utah and you'd really like to come and make a video with me, I do need to get that video up. Hit me up on either my email address, jeremyofthegreenerlawn@gmail.com, or if you are on Instagram, I don't know if we're buddies on Instagram or not, DM me on Instagram. Let's hook up. Let's get something to work out. Okay. I'm Jeremy of the Greener Lawn. I've been talking too long. Cut Bop is calling my name. I appreciate it, Rhett. You guys have a good night.